So to give you guys a fun little rare sight, some proof that the birds have freedom for the entire room. Got these blankets and stuff here. I'm about to go put in there and change up their guinea pig stuff. But look at those two burbs. I'm surprised that Aria, the blue one's able to make it up there. She's got a clipped wing, as you guys may or may not know. Poor burb. Yeah, it's a mess right now in the corner and stuff. A pile of clothes I'm still trying to run through. I'm not keeping all of that stuff. We're gonna put some of that to others. Give it to charity and whatnot, goodwill and whatnot. The good ones, at least, the ones that are really bad, we do not put out. But while they're right there, kind of adjusting, I have some veggies here that I'm gonna put into their thing. These are frozen veggies. I found that a few frozen veggies are good for my parakeets because they don't use their cuttle bone too much. So to have something like this help with their beaks, they hit the frost really quick. So, oh my gosh, they destroyed those sticks. Goodness gracious. Well, I'm glad you two like that so much. Want to get this messy, messy room cleaned up. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. We're going to get started on that now. So this is kind of a before and after deal. Let's get cracking. Well, we got these little dudes all cleaned up and stuff. I have to still sweep and whatnot. Still messy. I did decide to leave that little, patted down bits of hay. Not patterned, but patted bits of hay there. And I feel like it's a good spot to kind of get them to eat from and whatnot. Keep an eye on it. If they make a big mess of it, but that's just a bunch of loose hay that they kind of pulled out. I was going to leave there and hopefully they'll eat it. They obviously ain't using the bathroom right there exactly, so, but it's looking better. All cleaned up in the guinea pig spot. Getting the room set when I take all this stuff and put it outside, actually. All the hay, guinea pig poop, and I just put a bunch of seeds and old oat groat shells in there. Yeah, pudgy little piggies enjoying the little hay spot, actually, so that's a nice little thing. That's all dry hay. They didn't pee or poop in that. I felt it. So I walk around through here barefoot and stuff is how I can tell through things. And I kind of do that to know where there's messes and stuff without using my hands because, my feet, I don't touch things with my feet. So I just go and wash up after this. But we got all that hay swept up in a nice big pile. I'm going to show y'all what I do with all the leftover stuff for the outside here in just a second. People who have been around the channel know what I do. But for y'all new, check this out. Before checking that out, though, straight up real quick, the vivarium for the frogs is doing really good. They are kind of resting and chilling right now. You can kind of see Frogger. Let's zoom in. Yeah, you can see his little froggy face right there kind of peeking out. Hi, buddy. Sorry, bud. We're just checking out your plants in your vivarium. I'll leave you alone. All right. Yeah, the moss is doing good. It's kind of setting in, and it's nice in the wood and stuff. Had to remove a chunk of moss from here because it kept draining the water real quick, real bad. Again, I like leaving the watermarks in here. I don't wash them off too intently. I will wipe it down if it becomes almost opaque or too translucent to the point where I cannot see the animals. But otherwise, it does help them climb the glass easier. And they do like to climb and cling to the glass and do stuff like that. Michigan J is tucked away really good right now. He must be in the folds of the coconut fibers. That or he could be in that little thing there. And I added another coconut hut for them just because. And then I'm pretty sure Chunky's still in there running around. She's very elusive. She's a small little blue-tailed skink. And then my other friend, check her out, is Dramoka. I'm going to kind of do a little turn through y'all. I know messy stuff right there, too. She's a Cuban false chameleon, but she's a little old, and she does not like the camera. So I will keep it back here, but what we will do is another zoom. Hi, you. And another zoom. One more time. There we go. So these are very cool creatures. They're super chill. If I didn't have my phone out in front of her, I would be picking her up. But she's nervous. She's old. She's about 5 coming up here soon. And for Cuban false chameleons, their life expectancy usually doesn't pass 7 years old. I say usually because I'm sure there's exceptions out there. But yeah, that's the vivarium stuff in the room, and they don't really need any cleanups because I use cleaner bugs and things. They have very wet, sort of like moist soil that isopods and springtails happily live in. I wonder if we can get a few running around. Check this. Let's see here. Maybe. They like to hide under things. Springtails are going to be very hard to find. They are there. So if you look really, really closely, and you see that is a fruit fly right there. That is not a springtail. So that little white bug. Okay, so there are some little white bugs going around. Those are springtails. They're tiny. They're pretty much closely related to tardigrades and stuff. And then, yeah, no isopods running around right now, but that's a good chunk of moss. Look at that moss growing out. Yeah. Moss planting successful. Y'all just chowing down, enjoying your stuffs. I'm about to go take that mess y'all made outside, you know? Yeah. I can see the fluffiness. You're so fuzzy. Okay, and what we do, all this at the top of the hill, that got pelted with rain, and then we got a little bit some dryness happening now. Just kind of go ahead and dump everything out into the areas that seems most beneficial. And we're just going to kind of sweep that this way. There we go. Kind of brush it around, get the seeds, fertilizer, hay, all of that kind of about. And that should hopefully do some good stuff here in a bit. Yeah, the rest of the yard doesn't look that bad. A lot of greenery and stuff coming in and whatnot. Still looking good. I mean, the spot here where I put a lot of the seeds out, you can see that it's kind of produced some beneficial kind of grasses and things. Stuff that kind of puts roots on the earth and keeps the earth still and not sliding away through the rains. And the garden looking very nice as well. Those flowers are nice and bloomed up. I've seen hummingbirds coming up because it's hummingbird migrations season. They have been coming over. And our neighbors, I'm not going to show their yard. They have a beautiful garden too. But out of respect, this is my yard, my garden. I will show that. I will not go showing other people's awesome stuff. Even though it's awesome and everything, I do not have permission to show their garden. And I will not. But they have flowers and even hummingbird feeders that draw them in. So they come from the neighbor's yard and they stop in. And you got new blooms coming up too and everything. Man, this one flower, I think, is the oldest one, the one that sprouted first. The rest of these guys will be getting there soon. Some of them did sprout some, but then a tree limb fell. It seemed to have killed the flowers, but the stalks and everything are still thriving and surviving. So that's a really good thing to have. And then the little 10-gallon duckweed tank, it's been showing me how we've lost a lot of moisture in the earth as it has gone down a good bit from where it was at. You can almost even tell where I scooped it from and where the rains had to kind of interact. But yeah, like pretty much right up in here is where the water was, and it's drained from there in the past few days just because of the heat and stuff. So I like using that, but unfortunately here soon I'm gonna have to bring this in because when it gets cold and it starts getting frozen, it will crack this glass. And there are still tiny little snails living out their lives in here, just doing their thing. You can see the roots of the, they're kind of not great looking actually, but could have to do with the dryness, could have to do with whatever levels out here. The outdoor tank is more so for putting stuff out here and not really letting too much destroy the tank on the inside. Which you guys know that old dirty tank, doing great. Isopods, or not isopods, sorry. The neon tetras, isopods was before, man. I don't know why I said isopods. You can see I have little bugs on my brain, you know, because they're out there in the garden too. So I was thinking about them with that. But the tetras, there's 6 of those. I thought there were 5, but I counted them, and I keep seeing 6 of them. And then the 5 little corridors are doing good. So with 6 of those, and then 5 little corridor catfishes, my tank is at maximum again. So I need to keep this stuff balanced and clean for my dirty tank. Alright, but I am going to be leaving it with this, where I'm going to take this water right here. This is some leftover water from water changes and things like that the garden do great with. So I'm going to water the garden right here and call it a video for now. Doing a vlog hopefully later. Y'all have a good one. Peace out.